Hello, my name is Jonah Nolke, and my presentation is about the Colosseum and Roman Gladiators. I chose this topic because the Colosseum is one of the most famous buildings from ancient Rome, but I think a lot of the people and events inside are just as interesting as the building itself. In this presentation, I will explain why it was built, how it worked, who the gladiators were, and some common myths about the games. When and why it was built. The Colosseum's official name is the Flavian Amphitheater. Construction began under the Emperor Vespasian around 70 to 72 CE. His son Titus opened it in 80 CE. Later, Emperor Domitian added more parts, including underground areas. It was built in the center of Rome as a huge public entertainment building. The emperors paid for games to keep people entertained and to show the strength and wealth of the empire. This connects the Roman idea of bread and circus, meaning food and entertainment could help rulers keep the support of the public. How the Colosseum worked. The building itself was an amazing example of Roman engineering. The Romans used stone, concrete, arches, and vaults to support the huge structure. More than 50,000 people could attend events, and the seating was divided by social class. Important people sat closer to the arena, while poorer citizens sat higher up. A large cloth covering called the velarium could provide shade. Under the wooden arena floor there was the hypogeum, a system of routes, tunnels, lifts, and cages that helped workers move gladiators, animals, and scenery into the arena. What happened to the arena? The Colosseum held several kinds of events. The most famous were gladiator fights. Gladiators were trained fighters who faced opponents with different armor and weapons. There were also animal hunts called venetations, which used animals brought from different parts of the Roman Empire. Public punishments and executions could also happen in the arena. For these events were violent, but they were a major form of entertainment for Roman crowds. They also showed the reach of the empire, because many animals, fighters, and materials came from many different places under Roman control. Who were the gladiators? Gladiators were not all the same. Many were enslaved people, prisoners of war, or people punished for crimes. Some free men also volunteered because they wanted money, fame, or a chance to change their lives. Gladiators were trained professionals, not random people thrown in the arena. Different types used different equipment. A myrmidon usually carried a sword and a large shield, while a raricius used a net and a trident. Successful gladiators could become popular with the crowd, earn prizes, and sometimes gain their freedom. Training and fighting. Gladiators trained in special schools near the Colosseum. They were called Ludogmasis, the largest training school in Rome. It was connected to the Colosseum so fighters could move from the school towards the arena. In a fight, gladiators were usually prepared by their weapon type, size, experience, and fighting style. Referees watched the match and could stop it. A defeated fighter could signal surrender by raising a finger. The organizer, often the emperor in Rome, then decided whether the person was spared. Winners could receive a palm branch, money, a crown, or eventually a wooden sword that represented freedom. Gladiator myths versus facts. Movies make gladiator fights look like every match ended with someone dying, but that is not completely true. Gladiators were expensive to train and replace, so many fights ended in surrender or mercy. Another myth is that every gladiator was enslaved. Most were not free, but some people volunteered. The famous thumbs down signal is also not as clear as movies make it seem. Historians still debate exactly which hand signals meant death or mercy. The real games were still dangerous and brutal, but they had rules, referees, different fighter classes, and decisions made by the organizer. Why the Colosseum still matters. The Colosseum is important because it teaches us about more than entertainment. Its design shows how advanced Roman engineering was. Its seating shows the strict social classes in Roman society. The games show how emperors used public entertainment to gain support and display power. The stories of gladiators also show that Roman life could include violence, fame, fear, and the hope of freedom. I chose this topic because it combines architecture, history, art, and human stories. The Colosseum was not only a stadium, it became one of the strongest symbols of ancient Rome.